We welcome you in to a Friday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. It's been a long time since I've been able to say a rainy edition of the Bruce Hooley Show, but we can thank Hurricane Helene for that. We're going to have a, apparently, rainy weekend, although the percentage chances of rain are not super definitive. Wind, you can count on. Rain, we need it so bad. We're in a historic drought. But Hurricane Helene ravaging Florida, Georgia. A buddy of mine in South Carolina checked in with him last night. He said they were expecting some serious issues. And my daughter at college in southeastern Tennessee, classes canceled today. So it's not going to hit us, even the vestiges, not even directly, but we should feel it. And we're thankful for the rain, but certainly thinking of those who are without power and those who may be injured. Just an amazing video today on Fox. One of their weathermen was getting ready to do a live shot, and he heard some screaming behind him. He looked around. It was a woman in a car who had driven in. I don't know why in a hurricane, why would you drive into like water flooding the street? She did. It's up like almost to the top of her windows, and he waded out and rescued her. So really amazing footage. Now, speaking of heroic, Kamala Harris is going to take care of one of her glaring vulnerabilities today. She is, I believe, tonight going to the Arizona border. You will, of course, famously or infamously remember this moment in a sit-down several years ago with NBC's Lester Holt.
And to visit the border.
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
She was the only one who didn't understand the point he was making. She was at that time the border czar. Now she was never the border czar. That interview put her in hiding for like the better part of a year. And she's now full of joy and vibes and brat and all these qualities none of us can, particularly this listening audience, none of us can understand and certainly don't share with those who will support her in the upcoming election. And so she's going to the border. Now, is she going to a hot spot on the border? No, of course not. The last time she even attempted to do this, she was in Texas, and she didn't really go to, any of the areas that are seriously impacted by illegal immigration. She was like 50 miles away. But tonight she'll be in Douglas, Arizona, Cochise County. Is that where Bill Melugin parks himself? No, it is not. It is not where Bill Melugin or any of the other Fox reporters, which is to say the only reporters who have really been reporting on the border, have been. Here's Karl Rove describing the area where Kamala Harris will tell us tonight how serious she is about shutting down the southern border.
She's going to Douglas, Arizona, in Cochise County. 39%. That's what Joe Biden got in the county. On the other hand, it is not the part of Arizona where there are these scenes of a mob of illegal aliens crossing the border, throwing themselves through fences and over walls. It's a relatively placid part of the border. So she's going to a place where she can be, quote, on the border, but it's not the place where they're going to be able to say, well, she was there today, but look at what happened 2 weeks ago, or look what happened last month.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, she's a serial liar, just like her boss, Joe Biden. Although, is it possible Joe Biden is having second thoughts about stepping aside for Kamala Harris? I mean, put yourself in Biden's shoes, okay? If you were in Biden's shoes, I trust you'd walk better than he does. At any rate, if you're in Biden's shoes and they came to you and they told you, hey, you got to get out of the race. You can't win. Like, you're just getting clubbed in the polls. You can't possibly win. We need fresh, new, brat vibes, joy. We need that. And, Pelosi comes and Obama comes and she buries the Obama Ginsu knife collection in his back. And Biden gets out. And then Biden watches the Democratic convention and, oh, everybody's just so happy and everything's fantastic. And she doesn't get a bump in the polls. And then he watches the debate, which, you know, you might have PTSD watching a debate, given how he performed on June the 27th. And Kamala appears to justify the Democratic Party's concerns because she had a really good debate. Trump had a really bad debate. And Biden's sitting there and she's still not gaining in the polls. Georgia has done there have been like 6 organizations that have done major polls in the state so far since the debate. Trump's leading in every one of them. Now she's gained, but he's still leading in Georgia after convention and just an unabashed, unabated effort by the media to lick her boots and prop her up as the female equivalent to Barack Obama, if in fact the media now can, you know, delineate between male and female. I'm not sure that they can. But so Biden's looking at all this from a distance, right? And you know one thing about Joe Biden, he's like an angry, conceited old coot. And I'm wondering to myself as I watched him on The View this week, this is part of Joe Biden doing a victory tour to try to rehabilitate his image for one of the worst presidencies in American history, let alone, yeah, the worst of our lifetime. And even with Jimmy Carter, the inflation was terrible and we were embarrassed on the world stage with hostages, but we eventually got those hostages back, okay? We're not going to get those 13 American servicemen back that Biden caused to be blown up at the Abbey Gate at Hamid Karzai Airport. We're not going to get the billions of dollars in military equipment back. We're not going to be able to ever, at least until Donald Trump is president, regain our superiority, that healthy kind of watch out, he might be crazy enough to do it fear that our enemies have of us because of the way that we cowardly withdrew from Afghanistan. So Biden's out there trying to no, I'm great. I'm fantastic. That was an extraordinary success. The economy's true. So he goes on The View the other day and he says this, keep in mind, Kamala Harris is going to be in Arizona tonight at the border trying to separate herself from Joe Biden, who's like, no, come here. I got your hand, Kamala, and I'm not letting go.
And as vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
Everything from foreign policy to domestic policy. That doesn't leave a lot outside the purview of what Joe Biden entrusted to Kamala Harris. Foreign policy, domestic policy. That's everything. So she can't run from it. But of course, the media is going to try to allow her to run from it. I'm just not sure that the American people are going to buy it. In fact, I'm pretty sure the American people aren't going to buy it, though she's spending a lot of money to try to get them to buy it.
Kamala Harris has never backed down from a challenge. She put cartel members and drug traffickers behind bars, and she will secure our border. Here's her plan. Hire thousands more border agents, enforce the law and step up technology, and stop fentanyl smuggling and human trafficking. We need a leader with a real plan to fix the border, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Oh, yeah. You're convinced now, right? You imagined all those illegals coming across the border. You imagined every single day the tales of Nantucket, where we had 4 illegals, a couple gotaways, raping kids. You imagine Laken Riley. You imagine Ruby Garcia. You imagine Jocelyn Nungery. You imagine Rachel Morin. You imagined it all because she's serious about the border. Think I'm wrong about the media trying to prop her up? Here was the Associated Press's original headline on Harris's visit to the southern border. Harris plans to campaign on Arizona border with Mexico to show strength on immigration. Yes, I know your reaction is the same as a bunch of pundits on social media who said, Harris plans to campaign on Arizona border with Mexico to show strength on immigration. The universal two-word response was, what strength? The AP headline now reads, Harris will campaign on Arizona border with Mexico in an attempted show of strength on immigration. Yeah, we're going to attempt it, just like we attempted to revitalize the economy, just like we attempted to make us energy sufficient and lower inflation. They're always doing everything they can, except that everything they can usually turns out as an epic disaster. So the Associated Press carrying water for her, Stephanie Ruhle carrying water for her, CNN carrying water for her, ABC carrying water for her in the debate. None of it seems to be really making a difference in the polls.
Windy, bands of rain from Tropical Storm Helene. The high today 75. Rain tonight, breezy, and a low 65. Variable cloudiness, stray shower for tomorrow. High Saturday at 72. Sunday, clouds and humid, a passing shower, high 74. Areas of rain, thunderstorm on Monday morning. Cloudy and humid for the afternoon, high Monday at 75. Clouds and humid showers Tuesday, high at 75. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a doctor myself. I've used it and I've turned a lot of my patients onto it as well. It's a good product.
I've actually taken the bottles up to him, and my doctor, he tells me, keep doing it.
I am 87 years old, and I am an RN, and my PhD work is in anatomy and physiology. I watched your advertisement on TV, and I thought, I'll try it for just a month. I have stayed on it, just think it is a marvelous product.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code GORKA.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning at 8 here on 98.9 FM The Answer. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, Sunday mornings at 8, right here on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms?
And people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made. Now we're getting.
But he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hi, my name is Elisa Shaw, and I have been a patient at Revive for almost 4 years. When I came to Revive, I was suffering from severe migraines and autoimmune disease and scoliosis. I can tell you today that I'm off of my daily medication for migraines. My autoimmune symptoms are almost non-existent, and I've lost 20 pounds. I'm so thankful for Revive. So check out Revive today and make an appointment as soon as you can.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Brendan Schreiner with Revive Your Health Radio. Like Elisa, I once struggled with health issues that traditional doctors just couldn't help me with. Now my mission as a chiropractor and lifestyle expert is to revive your health. Schedule your first visit by calling 614-781-8808 or visiting our website at revivechiro.com. That's revivechiro.com.
We creep ever closer to October 22nd and the Battleground Talkers Tour at Genoa Christian Fellowship in Westerville. We hope you'll be there with us, and you can be if you go to 989theanswer.com right now and buy your tickets. General admission tickets are $5 if you'd like VIP tickets. Well, they're considerably pricier, but you get heavy hors d'oeuvres, and you also get a meet and greet and preferred seating. The meet and greet with who? Well, that would be with the people who are going to be speaking on stage that night, including politicians, those running for office and those already in office. We hope to have Senator Bernie Moreno there and others. Of course, I will be there. Jack Windsor of the Windsor Report will be there, and we'll welcome at least 3 people from Salem Media Network, including Hugh Hewitt and Mike Gallagher, the 2 gentlemen who precede me in the morning, and Larry Elder, who wraps it up every single night. I'm looking forward to meeting Larry. I think he does a great job, and he speaks the truth, which we all do, which is why you should be there and you should help us rally. October the 22nd, Genoa Christian Fellowship. Get your tickets at 989theanswer.com. Now, I'm not averse, back in my college days, to a late night pizza or 10. I don't recall that I was ever so hungry for one that I would shoot someone. That is what happened this morning at 3:15 a.m. at an establishment called the Del Baggio Pizzeria on East 5th Avenue at Summit. You say, isn't that on the campus area? Yes, it is. Boy, we've sure had a lot of shootings in the campus area lately, haven't we? Yikes, man. I have really good friends who have children who go to OSU, and I hope nothing bad happens on that campus, but boy, oh boy, this is just another, maybe this would be, and I'm certainly not hoping for it, let's put it this way, but let's just, if something happens on the campus, the mayor, the law director, the Franklin County prosecutor, the police chief, who for my money has done nothing to really help reduce crime in the city, juvenile justices, they'd all have some really hard questions to answer. So what happened last night or this morning rather, at the Del Baggio Pizzeria on East 5th at Summit Avenue? A dispute over cutting in line at the pizza shop led to a shooting in which 2 people were hospitalized. Officers showed up around 3:15 a.m. They found one victim with a gunshot wound to the back. The other victim's injury is undisclosed. Thankfully, neither one of them died. Police confirmed, according to WCMH, that's Channel 4, that the dispute began after victims cut in line at the pizza shop, leading to an argument and a shooting. It is not confirmed if any arrests have been made. No other injuries were reported. So there you go. He went away shot and presumably hungry. There is no way to update the story on what happened in Whitehall this past week. That is something I can do without struggling through it. 21-year-old mom, she has been charged, Charity Dreyer, has been charged with child endangerment. She's going to be charged with more because her 9-month-old, it certainly appears she killed the 9-month-old and severely injured the 2-year-old. So babysitters now are speaking to local television stations about this. And this appears to be a situation where this mom had some kind of struggle in her life or just didn't want to be a mom or whatever, but she would leave her children with several babysitters. She had several for days, weeks at a time. And now those sitters feel really, really guilty. It is not your fault, okay? It is not your fault. I don't know if they notified Children's Services. That's the detail I want to know. Was Franklin County Children's Services notified of, hey, she's bringing her kids over? Here's a quote from one of the babysitters. Charity would leave her kids from days to weeks with me. I'm not trying to bash her, but she did not bring clothes, wipes, diapers, no baby food. I had people in this community come together to help me raise these kids. I took the best care of them I could. I treated them as my own. Okay, hopefully, well, I don't know if I should say hopefully. This should have been reported to Franklin County Children's Services. What I mean, you all remember you had kids, take them somewhere if you were going to go away for the weekend or whatever, and you had somebody who would love you enough to take your kids. You just load your vehicle down with everything, right? Car swing, car seat, baby diaper bag, extra diapers, formula, breast milk, whatever. Like, you bring it all, right? In this case, when the mom doesn't do any of that, it's likely because A, she doesn't have it. And if she doesn't have it, she's got to get help, because there are some great agencies that can help with that. Or it's got to be reported because she just doesn't care enough. Now, I heard this morning Franklin County Children's Services is looking for an additional levy in the fall. I'm not campaigning against a levy for Franklin County Children's Services, okay? But I think if Franklin County Children's Services wants more money from the community to do its job better, then somebody from Franklin County Children's Services and someone in the newspaper or television realm, which has a much wider audience than I do, because I've tried with Franklin County Children's Services before. Like, look, you wonder why no public officials come on my show? Because they're going to get tough questions. We think Andrew Ginther's coming on my show. You think Zach Klein's coming on my show? They're afraid. So nobody from Franklin County Children's Services is going to come on my show. We've had, going back just in the time I've been on the show, I'm not going to blame them for the deaths of kids under 18. I'm not going to blame them for the 14-year-olds who steal cars and crash them and kill themselves. I'm not blaming Franklin County Children's Services for that. But when you have, was it 5-year-old Darnell Taylor and the little boy who Martonio Wilder, who was like 35 pounds or so when his mom and her girlfriend locked him in a box, put him in a garbage bag, and let him die in the attic of their home. Let's just expand it a little bit further. When you have Micaiah Bryant, who was in the system, okay? I'm trying to think of how I want to say this, because I'm not celebrating that Micaiah Bryant died in a shooting by a Columbus police officer, but the Columbus police officer was totally justified in shooting her because Micaiah Bryant was threatening another woman with a knife. But Micaiah Bryant was in the system with Franklin County Children's Services and had been placed with a foster parent. When we keep having these kinds of cases, and this is another one, and I don't know if Franklin County Children's Services knew about this or not, but I'm just saying we have a plethora of cases where these kinds of things are happening in Columbus, Ohio. And it's at least fair. I'm not blaming it on Franklin County Children's Services. I do believe these kinds of circumstances can happen independent of their knowledge. But it is at least fair for them to come forward and say, this is what the money will enable us to do. And in this case, and in this case, and in this case, here is what happened with our caseworkers. I want to know, are these people back at work? Or are they visiting people in homes? Or are we still under these ridiculous pandemic restrictions, which I've been told by authorities still have an impact? I'm not sure how much of an impact, but still have an impact on how Franklin County Children's Services is doing, or in some cases, perhaps not doing its job. These are fair questions to be asked because, as Columbus City Schools proves, more money doesn't solve problems.
Forecasters warn of the potential for devastating flooding across the southeast, including in the Atlanta area from Tropical Storm Helene, western North Carolina. Now among areas getting swamped by the storm, that includes Asheville. The storm-related death toll, at least 6. Declaring enough is enough, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will no longer tolerate daily rocket fire from Hezbollah in Lebanon. Netanyahu addressing world leaders at the UN in New York this morning. Also in New York, former President Trump meeting at Trump Tower with Ukrainian President Zelensky. A gauge of inflation closely watched by the Fed rose just 0.1% from July to August. Compared with a year earlier, inflation fell to 2.2%. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 441 points, the Nasdaq down 43 points. More More details, srnnews.com.
They're witnessing troubling signs that we're on the cusp of a major economic bust. High inflation, growing national debt, and global uncertainties are all flashing warning signals. Are you prepared for what's coming next? I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst. The Bible tells us that the wise man sees danger coming and takes precautions. By diversifying into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group, you can protect your God-given assets through both stable and turbulent times. Gold has been a trusted store of value for thousands of years, weathering economic storms that have wiped out other forms of wealth. Here's the best part. With the help of Birch Gold, you can convert your 401k or IRA to a gold IRA, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for a free info kit on gold. Take the next step to secure your financial future before these warning signs turn into a full-blown crisis. Text FAITH to the number 989898 now for your free gold IRA info kit. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve
news, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also in your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
ProView Remodeling, Central Ohio's one-stop residential remodeler specializing in the best sunrooms, windows, doors, decks, siding, patios, porches, motorized screens, and more. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 60 months, 0 interest, or 25% off. Call 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView, 614-756-3140, or go to ProViewRemodeling.com.
I'm CPA Brad Henneberg with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on the financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year.
Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We have a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted.
Bloviating pundits who speak with emotion. That's why you need to listen to The Larry Elder Show. Larry is a lawyer, writer, and media personality who speaks truth with facts. The Larry Elder Show, weekday evenings from 8 to 11 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
If you are in the market for new flooring, I would like to be considered. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to measure your space. I'd love to see if I can help you out. Name brands that you have seen and will see at other big box stores, we've got them. What we also have that those big box stores don't have are installers who work only for us. They bid their jobs, and who do you think they give those jobs to? That's right, the installers who bid the lowest. What does that tell you about the quality of work you might get from that installer? And what does that tell you if that installer then doesn't do a very good job? Will you be able to track him down later? Not a problem when you deal with me. Go to brucehooley.com and click on flooring. I get as many compliments about our installers' work ethic as I do about the quality of our products. And I get a lot of both. So I'd love to help you out. I'd love to meet you. brucehooley.com, flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner of the page. brucehooley.com, flooring tab, upper right-hand corner of the page. Donald Trump this morning got together with Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, who really stepped in it earlier this week by flying on a U.S. military plane to Pennsylvania and a munitions factory after criticizing J.D. Vance and Donald Trump for expressing hesitation about continuing to commit unchecked millions of dollars and, in fact, billions of dollars to Ukraine. Biden just signed another ginormous check, $8 billion. I don't know. I don't know if that's right. It might be 8 million. It might be 8 billion. 8 million won't buy you much in terms of military hardware. But Trump struck a conciliatory tone. Here's what he said with Zelensky standing by his side.
Well, I learned a lot, but I think I haven't changed from the standpoint that we both want to see this end, and we both want to see a fair deal made, and it's going to be fair, and I think that'll happen at the right time. I think it's going to happen. The president wants it to end, and he wants it to end as quickly as possible. He wants a fair.
He's talking about Zelensky
transaction to take place, and I think. I mean, right now I'm campaigning, so right now I don't have much to do with it other than we're doing very well in terms of the campaign. And I've been saying that I believe if I win, we're going to have a very fair and I think actually rather rapid deal. It should stop, and the president wants it to stop. And I'm sure President Putin wants it to stop. And that's a good combination. So we want to have a fair deal for everybody.
Now, when Donald Trump says there that the president wants the war to stop, he's not talking about Joe Biden wanting it to stop. He's talking about Zelensky wanting it to stop. And just so you're sure on that. Now, of course, because in the Biden administration, nobody's allowed to win a war, right? Nobody's allowed to win. Israel's not allowed to win. Ukraine's not allowed to win. This is how they play the game in the Biden administration. They just think if you're able to hold enough conferences and be nice enough to everybody, that eventually people will be like, you know, and you just tell them, your war is really bad. Like, war is so bad. We just can't have war. Don't you understand? Don't you believe war is bad? And the answer to that question is no. Vladimir Putin doesn't believe the war is bad. He believes Ukraine should be his. Hezbollah and Hamas do not believe the war is bad because as long as a Jew can draw breath, they want to eradicate them. So we are in a never-ending stalemate in Ukraine. And I played a few cuts for you the other day from Martha McCallum's interview with John Kirby. They will not admit that this is in a stalemate in Ukraine. They make the case, oh, look, Ukraine is advancing into Russia. Yeah, Russia used to advance into Ukraine, and then Ukraine would advance back, and then Ukraine and Russia would move, and then in Ukraine. That's the very definition of a stalemate. But not to Anthony Blinken, not to Jake Sullivan, not to John Kirby, not to Joe Biden.
You don't see it as a stalemate? I do not see what we're seeing in Ukraine as a stalemate. Now, it depends on exactly where you're looking at.
Does the White House support allowing them to use attack guns? Because every other barrier that you have put up for them because you thought it would escalate has eventually fallen. Is that going to fall as well? Because we know there are disparate forces within the White House from reporting that are in favor of that and against it. Where do you stand?
There's no change in policy with respect to the use of long-range U.S. strike capabilities to hit Russian targets. There's no change to that policy.
So then this war will just stay at the level that it's at for the foreseeable future.
I think it's weird that you can go from like, well, if you don't give them that, if that changes, then it's just the war's just going to go on and on and on. And I don't think we believe that to be the case.
On one hand, they extol Zelensky, brilliant leader, but they won't give him what he says he needs to win the war. What he says he needs to win the war. Israel, they won't give Israel. No, 2,000-pound bombs. You heard of Kamala Harris say it the other day. I'm opposed to 2,000-pound bombs for Israel. War is a soccer game to the Biden administration. Every game ends in a tie. It's a Little League game where everybody gets a trophy. Every war ends in a tie. It must end in a tie. Nobody can win. Now, the other hot spot, of course, is Israel, and Benjamin Netanyahu was in the United Nations Hall this morning addressing those at the UN. Here is how Netanyahu opened his speech. It was powerful because, of course, it can be powerful when you're on the right side of this issue, which he is.
I didn't intend to come here this year. My country is at war, fighting for its life. But after I heard the lies and slanders leveled at my country by many of the speakers at this podium, I decided to come here and set the record straight. I decided to come here to speak for my people, to speak for my country, to speak for the truth. And here's the truth. Israel seeks peace. Israel yearns for peace. Israel has made peace and will make peace again. Yet we face savage enemies who seek our annihilation, and we must defend ourselves against these savage murderers.
And of course, he's talking about Hamas, which precipitated this whole thing on October 7th, which, in case people have forgotten about, and in case people have forgotten about how close we were with the Abraham Accords, which were accomplished under Donald Trump's watch, Benjamin Netanyahu reminded everybody that Israel and the Saudis, who are Arabs, who are Muslim, Israel and the Saudis were on the brink of an agreement because of the work that Donald Trump had done as president when October 7th happened.
A normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel seemed closer than ever. But then came the curse of October 7th. Thousands of Iranian-backed Hamas terrorists from Gaza burst into Israel in pickup trucks, on motorcycles, and they committed unimaginable atrocities. They savagely murdered 1,200 people. They raped and mutilated women. They beheaded men. They burned babies alive. They burned entire families alive. Babies, children, parents, grandparents, in scenes reminiscent of the Nazi Holocaust. Hamas kidnapped 251 people from dozens of different countries, dragging them into the dungeons of Gaza.
So the other day I went home from work and I watched a documentary. It's called We Will Dance Again. It is about the Nova Music Festival and about October 7th. And it has cell phone video from all the kids who were there. And I wished I hadn't seen it because it's really hard to watch. Benjamin Netanyahu wrapped up today talking about Iran, which funded Hamas and funds Hezbollah. It is a shame that no one from Iran, their seats were empty today when Benjamin Netanyahu said this at the UN.
I have a message for the tyrants of Tehran. If you strike us, we will strike you. There is no place. There is no place in Iran that the long arm of Israel cannot reach. And that's true of the entire Middle East.
And I think they've demonstrated that, right? They have taken out Hamas leaders. They've taken out Hezbollah leaders. Like, they don't even know over there if Sinwar, the head of Hamas, is even alive yet. Still, rather. They don't know. We had the pager attack, which, by the way, I heard somebody refer to the pager attack yesterday as the grim beeper coming to call. Yes, I can laugh at terrorists dying. And then they had the walkie-talkies blowing up. And Israel shouldn't wait. They should go in right now. Hezbollah's communication systems are down. They got a lot of their leaders that are hurt. Go in, finish the job. The Biden administration won't help you. Don't count on them. Was it going to get better if Kamala Harris becomes president? No, it's going to get worse. You got to go in and finish the job right now. I said at the time, I said on October 7th of the Saturday, so 8th, 9th. I said on the 9th, turn Gaza into the world's largest sandbox and start all over again. And I'd be fine with doing that in northern Lebanon as well, or southern Lebanon as well.
Windy bands of rain from Tropical Storm Helene. The high today 75. Rain tonight, breezy, and a low 65. Variable cloudiness, streak shower for tomorrow. High Saturday at 72. Sunday, clouds and humid, a passing shower, high 74. Periods of rain, thunderstorm on Monday morning. Cloudy and humid for the afternoon, the high Monday at 75. Clouds and humid showers Tuesday, the high at 75. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hi, this is Ralph Drollinger, president and founder of Capital Ministries. I have the privilege of leading the Senate and House member Bible study every week in Washington, D.C. And I'm also the host of the new weekend program here on your radio station called Capital Ministries Weekend. Listen along as we discuss the crossroads between the Bible and politics on a timely basis.
Listen to Capital Ministries Weekend, Sunday mornings at 7:30 on 98.9 FM The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt, 80 million listeners. Depend on AM radio to always be on, delivering news, sports, talk, and weather reports you can trust. AM radio also delivers vital emergency information when you need it most. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass the AM for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. And visit dependonam.com for more information.
Message and data rates may apply. You may text STOP to stop.
Hi, I'm Paul George with Keller Williams Greater Columbus Realty, host of the Paul George Real Estate Show, broadcasting every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on 98.9 The Answer. Using over 30 years of trusted real estate agent experience in Central Ohio, I'll share invaluable insights into the ever-evolving local real estate market, provide you with current trends, and bring industry experts who will share their wisdom on the art of buying and selling homes. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, I love it. I'm 83 years old, and it has helped me.
Everything was okay. I feel better. I just turned 90, so I'm doing real good.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
You know, some guys tell me, oh, that's psychological, man. I said, let me tell you something. I don't care what it is. It's working.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Charlie.
Who are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard? We are your neighbors, co-workers, and friends. We are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. We are the people you see in your community every day. While we serve part-time, we're learning valuable life and job skills that we can use in our civilian careers. We get up to 100% of our tuition paid for at state colleges so we can have an even better future. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. Through every storm, every flood, every emergency that hits home here in Ohio, we are ready to respond and help our fellow Ohioans recover. We are every city, every small town, and every community. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
MyPillow.com prices are inflation friendly. In a world where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have spent like drunken sailors and economic fools, prices have gone up virtually everywhere except at MyPillow.com, where Mike Lindell has bettered even what I thought were his lowest prices ever. I didn't think it could get any better than the $25 extravaganza sale, but this is a phrase I don't mind saying because it benefits you. I was wrong. Yes, I was wrong. You can get a standard MyPillow right now, not for $25, but for $14.98. That's crazy, but it's true. I may say things that are crazy from time to time, but they are always true, and it is absolutely true that you can get a MyPillow, the standard size, for $14.98. Same fiber and fill. It's exact same. It's just not a king. It's not a queen. You'll pay $25 for those. $14.98 for the standard size. MyPillow.com. Use my promo code Bruce. MyPillow.com. Promo code Bruce. Now, I ended the show yesterday with 6 or 7 minutes on diet and the importance of diet, and I played some RFK cuts for you. And so I've been all over YouTube lately watching more and more diet videos and diet information. And I've noticed something. I've noticed that every time I go to watch a video on YouTube, I'm getting an anti-Sherrod Brown ad. I'm getting a Sherrod Brown ad that is against his border policies and siding with Joe Biden. And I'm getting ads that Sherrod Brown is pro-trans and would put men and boys in girls and women's locker rooms. And those ads are accurate. He has advocated for those policies. So what is that indicative of? Well, it is indicative of the fact that while Sherrod Brown spent a ton of money early in the summer and wildly outspent Bernie Moreno, and a lot of people were like super nervous about, where's Bernie Moreno? He doesn't have any money. Why is he not? Sherrod Brown was like, well, he's a Democrat, so I just said Biden and Harris spend like drunken sailors and economic idiots. Sherrod Brown couldn't keep his powder dry. And so he spent a bunch of money that did him no good, because now Bernie Moreno is neck and neck with him in the polls. And Bernie Moreno has outspent Sherrod Brown on TV and digital advertising, and that would be YouTube and other avenues like that, by a 2-to-1 margin, 70 million to 35 million since September the 1st. And it's paying off. So here's a GOP strategist named Jay Chambria. He said, red flashing lights have to be blinking all over Sherrod Brown's campaign headquarters. The Republican money has just started to be spent, and they're going to take this seriously because this is the race they need for the majority. Well, this race or Montana, because Jim Justice is going to win West Virginia going away. So this is fantastic news, because Bernie Moreno would make a fantastic senator. And Sherrod Brown has been a career politician. He's going after his 4th term. He's 71 years old, but he won't retire. Of course he won't retire. Why? Not because there aren't other Democrats in the state. You think Allison Russo wouldn't want to run for Senate? I wouldn't want her to win, but there are plenty. You think there aren't like Amelia Sykes up in Cleveland, crazy Democratic congressman from the state of Ohio? You think there aren't, like, you think Andrew Ginther wouldn't want to run for Senate? Oh, that'd be comical. It's not they don't have other candidates. It's that they have to hold the seat. And so Sherrod Brown's got the biggest name recognition, so Sherrod Brown's going to run again. And because it's a fantastic grift, and he doesn't want to give it up yet. So Sherrod Brown's running for his 4th term, which would take him to 77 years of age. Bernie, of course, is hoping for a Donald Trump momentum boost, because Trump's won Ohio the last 2 times by 8 percentage points. And a lot of people were, oh, he's way behind. Why can't he's underperforming Trump? Yeah, well, Bernie's just run a smart campaign. By the way, why is there no Sherrod Brown, Bernie Moreno debate? Sherrod Brown has debated Jim Renacci. He's debated Josh Mandel. Why won't he debate Bernie Moreno? Why? What's he afraid of? Sherrod, what are you afraid of? Maybe I'll show up at the Sierra Club. Well, not at the Sierra Club. Maybe I'll show up at a campaign event that Brown is going to hold on Monday with the Sierra Club. Oh, that's a cozy relationship. The Sierra Club, which is the longest standing green energy grift radical environmental group out there, a club that advocates for the closure of all Ohio coal plants. Oh, Sherrod Brown will participate in a campaign event alongside the Sierra Club on Monday. They are advocating for the closure of Ohio's largest coal plant. The Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign is seeking to replace coal and gas with clean energy by retiring coal plants, preventing a new fossil fuel plant of any sort from being built, and stopping to work the expansion of fracked gas in Ohio. That'll really play well with blue-collar workers in the state of Ohio. Why would Sherrod Brown attach himself to the Sierra Club? Because, of course, they are lining his pockets. And he has to do it, or they will not line his pockets. Now, he is doing the same thing Kamala Harris does. She's like, God, ban fracking. I'd be all about banning fracking. Well, what about your position on fracking now? Oh, I never voted to ban fracking. I love fracking. Fracking is the greatest thing ever. Now, Sherrod Brown is attempted to position himself as a moderate on energy, saying he will never turn his back on Ohio's rural electric co-ops, Ohio's energy workers, and Ohio's families whose energy bills are too high already. Yet he will appear with Sierra Club nutcases trying to close the coal-fired power plant in Cheshire, Ohio, which employs 300 people. Yeah, it's a great. I'm sure they're very happy with Sherrod. I'm sure they're loving everything that he says. Now, you've seen the attack ads on Bernie about, he tore up records and didn't pay his guys overtime. And I've told you before, that has to do with what was at the time a very common practice in the auto industry as to how every dealer paid their people. And, look, once you're found to be in violation of the law, you meet the penalty, you pay the penalty. Let's move on, okay? They also, of course, are beating up Bernie Moreno the only other place that they can, which is because he's pro-life, and he's unabashedly pro-life, and he's not equivocating on being pro-life. Hit piece the other day published by numerous newspapers around the state, around the country, and on some big media outlets, noting that Bernie Moreno said at a previous campaign appearance in March of 2023, could you imagine if we could go back into the DeLorean, if we popped the DeLorean out of, talking about the Back to the Future movies, and went back to meet James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and George Washington and said, hey, are you in favor of abortion? They would murder you, Moreno said. Are you kidding me? These are the most Christian people on earth. It would never even occur to them. And hey, by the way, 250 years later, we're saying the Constitution provides you the right for an abortion. They'd be like, madness. We're going back to England. Yeah, I was talking with my wife last night about this tragic situation in Whitehall where this mom killed her 9-month-old, it appears, killed her 9-month-old baby. And my wife said something to me that she certainly would never advocate for, but is inarguably true. She said, if she'd aborted that baby 9.5 months ago, she'd be free and clear. And she would. She would. She'd be free and clear. I've said this before. The Democrats talk about abortion like having an abortion is equivalent to storming the beaches at Normandy or scaling the stairways in the towers after the terrorist planes hit. Abortion is a heinous act. 1 million babies a year are aborted in this country.
Guest live on stage Tuesday, October.
All right, that'll do it. Hey, happy weekend. It's Friday afternoon. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you can't tell, I've been under the weather, so I'm hoping I can make it through another hour and the one other show I have to do today. And then a restful time. Enjoy the rain. Stay safe. Talk to you Monday.